From that quadruple murder in Tennessee and the brawl in Cincinnati to a shooting here in New York City, a double murder in Arkansas, and a targeted attack of a councilman in Virginia, we are seeing a disturbing trend of crime here in the U.S. For more now on how we address it and keep Americans safe, former FBI special agent and Fox News contributor Nicole Parker. Nicole, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. This is a very, very important topic.
So let's start with the manhunt for the suspect who killed 4 people and left that baby alive. What will be the key to cracking that case, Nicole?
You hear this as an investigator and your heart just breaks. There's a baby that is left alive and the suspect on the loose. They're going to be tracking down every possible lead in this investigation and tracking down relationships, communications, who was talking to who. But it goes back to, we're in a country where many individuals are now solving their grievances with violence. And having worked violent crime, this is nothing new. This is something that in law enforcement we see on a regular basis. And sometimes Americans are shielded from it. Other times you see it front and center, as we've seen this week. But this is so important that law enforcement has the support in order to do their jobs, because Americans should not be living in fear. We cannot continue to have this string of violence.
To the fights in Cincinnati, I want to play a clip from the police chief, and I'll get you to react to it.
This incident is more than an isolated tragedy. It points to a broader challenge, a revolving door of justice. Our officers risk their life daily to remove violent offenders from the streets, only to see them released quickly and sometimes without consequences. This cycle must end.
Revolving door of justice. What's your reaction to that, Nicole?
That's correct. That cycle must end. I mean, that is absolutely disgusting what happened there. The fact that there was really no attention given to it for a number of days. But again, law enforcement, we try to put people behind bars, and then when they're released, they're free to go. If there is no tangible consequence and no accountability for those committing crimes, this is why the cycle of crime continues. And again, it goes back to the direct correlation between those that are publicly in office, those are your prosecutors, your judges, your law enforcement, your mayors. It goes local, state, and federal, from the top all the way down. And so those that are allowing these individuals to get out of prison and to not serve hefty sentences, that is why this is continuing to occur. But I do believe that with President Trump at the top, there is a very strong message in our country now that we will make America safe again. Violent crime cannot be tolerated. And I can tell you that it does start at the top. But there is a direct correlation between those that are serving in public office and law enforcement's ability to do their jobs.
To the mass shooting here in New York City this week, investigators say the gunman fired 47 rounds. Are we fortunate that more people were not killed in that attack?
Well, first of all, I would like to express my condolences to all of those who were negatively impacted by this and those who lost their lives. There were 4 individuals in New York who lost their lives. And of course, we know one of them was an NYPD officer, Islam. He is a true hero. And we can never, ever underestimate that heroic act that he did. And also our hearts go out to those who were regular civilians who didn't have a chance to even defend their lives, who were just going about their daily business. Again, this cannot be tolerated. But again, there is a mayoral candidate in New York right now who had talked about defunding the police, not supporting law enforcement. That would be absolutely detrimental to the city of New York. I can tell you, having served as an FBI agent under the Trump administration and the Biden administration, it was literally night and day. And it does matter. It does matter who is in office. And in law enforcement, who has your back and who's going to support you. I can tell you, under the Biden administration, we lost 2 FBI agents adversarially in the line of duty. They were adversarially killed. First time in 14 years. And President Biden didn't even show up to the funerals while he was in office. And so again, NYPD, they know who supports them. Whether a mayoral candidate now is saying, oh, you know what, I said that in the heat of the moment back in 2020 in light of George Floyd. They know who supports them. They know who does not. And it's extremely important for Americans to be safe that we have law enforcement that can do their jobs. And when you have elected officials that do not allow them to do their jobs, this sort of thing happens. And going back to the overall general safety, Mike, of Americans, We have to remember that we cannot live in fear. Yes, there's violence, there's evil out there. Do not live in fear, but also keep your head on a swivel and be aware of your surroundings. Call 911 when you see things. If you see something, say something. And I think it's something that a lot of people a lot of people are getting trained now because we feel like we have to defend our own lives. You call 911, you don't even know when the cops are going to show up because so many of these liberal cities have defunded the police and they have cut down their police officers. And so a lot of people feel like they have to take matters into their own hands. And I just strongly suggest, as a former law enforcement officer, you have the ability to fight. And if someone is approaching you, you fight with everything that you have. You would be surprised what kind of weapons you have on your own persons that you can use to defend your life at any given moment. But again, this is why we have to have proper elected officials who will back the blue. We need proper leadership, and we need law enforcement to be able to do their jobs. And those that commit crimes must be held accountable.
Very violent week in many places across our great country. Nicole Parker, thank you for your time and your analysis today.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.